What if the way you sleep every single night is quietly putting stress on your brain, and you don't even realize it? Most people think strokes happen suddenly, without warning. But what many adults over 50 don't know is that certain nighttime habits can slowly increase stroke risk over time. Not dramatic habits, not dangerous activities, just small routines that feel completely normal when you go to bed. You might be doing one of them tonight. During sleep, your body is supposed to repair blood vessels, regulate blood pressure, and restore healthy circulation to the brain. But if a few key habits are out of balance, those same hours can place unexpected strain on your cardiovascular system instead. Hi, I'm Dr. Nelson, and on this channel, we focus on practical, science-based ways to help adults protect their health as they get older. Over the years, I've worked with many patients who were shocked to discover that their nighttime routines were affecting their brain and heart health more than they realized. The good news is that these habits are often simple to fix. In today's video, we'll walk through 7 common nighttime habits that may quietly raise stroke risk and what you can do to change them. Let's start with the first one, something many people believe is completely harmless: how you position your body when you fall asleep. Habit number 7. Sleeping completely flat on your back. Let's start with something that surprises a lot of people over 60, because for most of their lives they were told the opposite. Many seniors believe that lying completely flat on their back is the healthiest way to sleep. It feels natural, it feels stable, and for some people it even seems better for the spine. But as the body ages, the way blood circulates during sleep changes more than most people realize. After about age 60, blood vessels gradually lose some of their flexibility. The body also produces less nitric oxide, a compound that helps arteries relax and maintain steady blood flow. When someone sleeps completely flat for hours, especially during the deepest stages of sleep between midnight and early morning, blood pressure can drop more than the brain actually needs. For a younger person, the body easily compensates. For an older adult with slower circulation, the brain may receive slightly less blood flow than it should. Now, this doesn't mean every person who sleeps flat is in danger. But for many older adults, especially those who already deal with high blood pressure, dizziness when standing up, or occasional morning headaches, it can quietly add stress to the brain's circulation during the night. And here's the part that worries many seniors when they hear this. Stroke often happens during sleep or in the early morning hours. People go to bed feeling fine, and by morning something has changed. That possibility sits quietly in the back of many people's minds as they age. The good news is that the solution is simple. Instead of lying completely flat, try slightly elevating the head and upper body by about 4 to 6 inches. This small angle helps gravity support steadier blood flow to the brain through the night. You don't want to stack several pillows, because that can bend the neck and actually restrict circulation. A wedge pillow or slightly raising the head of the bed works much better. And once you understand this, it also helps explain why the next habit on our list can make nighttime circulation even more challenging, something many older adults overlook every single evening. Habit number 6. Going to bed dehydrated. Now, once you understand how sleep position can affect circulation, the next habit becomes even more important, because even if your head is elevated correctly, your blood still needs the right consistency to move smoothly through your body while you sleep. And that brings us to something many adults over 60 quietly struggle with: going to bed slightly dehydrated without realizing it. As we age, the body's natural thirst signal becomes weaker. Many older adults simply don't feel thirsty the way they used to. Some even limit water in the evening on purpose because they don't want to wake up during the night to use the bathroom. On the surface, that seems reasonable, but the body still needs adequate hydration to maintain healthy blood flow through the brain and heart during sleep. Here's why this matters. Your blood is largely made of water. When the body becomes even mildly dehydrated, the blood can become thicker and move more slowly through the vessels. During the nighttime hours, when blood pressure naturally drops and the body is resting, thicker blood makes circulation more difficult. For someone in their 60s or 70s, especially those already managing blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol, this can quietly increase stress on the brain's blood supply. Many seniors describe waking up in the morning with headaches, grogginess, or a feeling of mental fog. They assume it's just part of aging, but sometimes the brain simply spent the entire night working harder than it should to maintain circulation. The goal isn't to drink a large amount of water right before bed. That can interrupt sleep. Instead, try sipping water steadily during the late afternoon and early evening. Then have a small glass about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime so the body stays hydrated overnight. And once hydration is in a better balance, we can look at another habit that many people assume is harmless, but in some cases may affect nighttime blood pressure more than expected. Habit number 5. Taking blood pressure medication too close to bedtime. Now, once hydration and circulation are in better balance, there's another habit that deserves careful attention, especially for adults over 60 who take medication to manage blood pressure. And that habit is taking blood pressure medication too close to bedtime without realizing how it interacts with the body's natural sleep cycle. Many seniors in the United States take medications every day to control hypertension, and that's a good thing. Managing blood pressure is one of the most important ways to protect the brain and reduce stroke risk. But what many people are never clearly told is that blood pressure naturally drops during sleep. It's part of the body's normal rhythm. When medication is taken right before bed, it can sometimes push blood pressure lower than the brain prefers during those overnight hours. For some people, especially those already dealing with circulation issues, this can reduce blood flow to certain areas of the brain while they sleep. This is one of the hidden fears many older adults carry. They go to bed trusting their medications, but they worry quietly about waking up feeling dizzy, confused, or weak. Some even notice episodes where they stand up in the morning and feel lightheaded, unsure if it's just age or something more serious. Now, this does not mean anyone should stop taking their medication. That would be dangerous. What it means is that timing matters, and it's a conversation worth having with your doctor. For many patients, taking blood pressure medication earlier in the day can maintain protection while avoiding excessive drops overnight. If you or someone you love is over 60 and taking blood pressure medication, it may be helpful to ask your physician a simple question during your next appointment. Is the timing of my medication right for my sleep cycle? And once medication timing is properly aligned, there's another factor many people overlook that can quietly affect the body during sleep: the temperature of the room where you spend the entire night. Habit number 4. Sleeping in a room that's too warm. Once medication timing is properly balanced, the next factor might seem surprisingly simple, but it affects millions of older adults every night. And that is the temperature of the bedroom where you sleep. Many people over 60 prefer a warm room at night. It feels comfortable, it relaxes stiff joints, and for those who grew up in colder climates, a warm bedroom simply feels safer. But what many seniors don't realize is that the body actually needs a slightly cooler environment in order to enter deep, restorative sleep. When you fall asleep, your brain signals the body to lower its core temperature. This cooling process helps regulate blood pressure, relax blood vessels, and move the body into the deeper stages of sleep where repair and recovery happen. But if the room is too warm, the body struggles to reach those deeper stages. Sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, and the cardiovascular system works harder through the night. For older adults, that disruption matters more than it did decades ago. Blood vessels are more sensitive, inflammation can rise more easily, and poor sleep can leave you waking up with headaches, fatigue, or that foggy feeling many seniors describe in the morning. Some people quietly worry that these symptoms are signs of aging or even the early stages of memory problems, when in reality, the body simply hasn't had the right conditions to rest. The goal isn't to make the room uncomfortably cold. Most sleep specialists recommend a temperature somewhere around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. If that feels too cool at first, adding an extra blanket or wearing warm socks can make the transition easier while still allowing the body to cool naturally. Once the sleep environment is working with your body instead of against it, we can move to another issue that affects nighttime oxygen levels, something many older adults have but don't realize is happening while they sleep. Habit number 3. Ignoring the signs of sleep apnea. Now that we've talked about sleep environment and circulation, we need to address something that affects oxygen while you sleep. And for many adults over 60, This issue is happening night after night without them even realizing it. I'm talking about sleep apnea. Sleep apnea occurs when breathing repeatedly pauses during sleep. These pauses can last 10, 20, sometimes 30 seconds at a time. Each time it happens, oxygen levels in the blood drop, the brain senses danger, and the body briefly wakes itself up to start breathing again. The problem is that most people never remember these interruptions. They simply wake up in the morning feeling tired, foggy, or with a dull headache behind the eyes. Many seniors assume this is just part of getting older. They may say things like, "I don't sleep like I used to," or "I guess this is what aging feels like." But in many cases, the brain spent the entire night fighting for oxygen. For older adults, this becomes more than just poor sleep. Repeated drops in oxygen can place stress on blood vessels and increase strain on the heart and brain. Over months and years, that stress can quietly raise the risk of stroke and other cardiovascular problems. What makes sleep apnea especially concerning is that many seniors don't fit the classic picture. Some don't snore loudly. Others live alone and have no one to notice breathing pauses. The only clues may be waking up several times a night, frequent bathroom trips, or feeling unusually exhausted during the day. If any of this sounds familiar, it's worth discussing a sleep evaluation with your doctor. Today, many sleep studies can even be done at home with small monitoring devices. And once breathing and oxygen levels during sleep are properly addressed, we need to look at another factor that can quietly keep the body in a state of stress long after the lights go out. Habit number 2, going to bed with a stressed, overactive mind. Now, even when breathing and oxygen levels during sleep are under control, there's another factor that can quietly affect the body all night long. And this one has nothing to do with pillows, medication, or room temperature. It has to do with what's happening inside your mind when you close your eyes. Many adults over 60 carry a lot of responsibility in their thoughts at night. They think about their children, their grandchildren, finances, health concerns, or the uncertainty that sometimes comes with aging. During the day, these worries may stay in the background, but when the house becomes quiet and the lights go out, the mind often begins replaying everything at once. When the brain stays in that problem-solving mode, the body remains in a mild stress response. Hormones like cortisol and adrenaline stay elevated, heart rate stays slightly higher, and blood vessels remain tighter than they should be during sleep. Over time, this nightly stress response can affect blood pressure and circulation. Many seniors describe lying in bed for an hour or more, tired but unable to fully relax. Some wake up in the middle of the night with racing thoughts. Others fall asleep but wake up feeling as if their body never truly rested. And quietly in the back of their minds, there's often a deeper fear, wondering whether stress might be slowly affecting their heart or brain. One simple habit can make a surprising difference. About 30 minutes before bed, take a notebook and write down anything that's on your mind. It doesn't have to be organized. Just get the thoughts out of your head and onto paper. When the notebook closes, your brain receives a signal that those concerns can wait until tomorrow. And once the mind finally shifts from stress mode into rest mode, there's one last nighttime habit we need to talk about, something many people consider harmless but can quietly affect the body's circulation and metabolism while you sleep. Habit number 1, eating too close to bedtime. Now, once the mind has settled and the body is ready to rest, there's one more habit that many people over 60 do almost automatically. It feels harmless. In fact, for some people, it even feels comforting at the end of the day. And that habit is eating late in the evening, often within a couple hours of going to bed. For many older adults in the United States, the nighttime snack has been part of their routine for decades. Maybe it's a bowl of ice cream while watching television, a few crackers with cheese, or something small in the kitchen before turning off the lights. It feels like a reward after a long day, but what many people don't realize is that the body processes food very differently at night. When you eat close to bedtime, your digestive system suddenly becomes active right when your body should be shifting into repair mode. Blood flow moves toward the stomach and intestines to support digestion. At the same time, blood sugar rises, and the body releases hormones to manage that spike. For younger adults, the system usually handles this without much trouble. But after 60, metabolism slows, and the cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive to these nighttime changes. Instead of resting, the heart, blood vessels, and digestive organs stay busy for hours. Many seniors notice the effects without connecting the dots. They wake up feeling groggy, with mild heartburn, or with restless sleep. Some quietly worry that their health is declining faster than expected. The truth is that sometimes it's not aging at all. It's simply timing. A helpful guideline is to finish your final meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. If you feel the urge to snack later, try herbal tea or a glass of water instead. It gives the body time to settle before sleep begins. And when you look back at everything we've discussed tonight, you'll start to see a pattern. None of these habits seem dangerous by themselves, but together, night after night, they can quietly shape your long-term brain health. That's exactly what we're going to talk about as we wrap this up. Final thoughts. Small nighttime habits can shape your future health. As we get older, the body becomes more sensitive to the routines we repeat every single day. Things that once seemed harmless, how we sleep, when we eat, how stressed our minds are before bed, can begin to affect circulation, blood pressure, and brain health in ways we may not notice right away. For adults over 60, the nighttime hours are especially important. While you sleep, your brain depends on stable blood flow, steady oxygen levels, and a calm nervous system to repair and restore itself. When certain habits disrupt that balance, the body has to work harder during the very hours it should be recovering. But the most important message here is not fear, it's awareness. The good news is that many of these risks are connected to habits that can be adjusted. A cooler bedroom, better hydration, earlier meals, managing stress before bed, and paying attention to breathing and sleep position can all help create the conditions your brain needs to stay healthy. Think about the next 1 to 5 years of your life. The small choices you make each evening can influence how clearly you think, how steadily you move, and how independent you remain. Your body may be aging, but it still responds powerfully to the right care. When you understand how these habits work, you give yourself something incredibly valuable: the ability to protect your health before problems ever begin.